Hello again. Fancy seeing you here. So carrying on with the Rocky Journal, this was prompt number 5, which was doing colouring pages. So this was the one that I said that I was going to work on. I actually have ended up using something else, which I'll show you in a moment. But I just wanted to show you where I've used, I hope you can see the sparkly bits. So I didn't tell you about, I gave you the names of them, but I didn't show you the actual pens. So I used my Wink of Stella, which I got from Stampin' Up, and this is a clear glitter brush pen, so that when you paint it onto your paper, and I doubt if you'll see that very well at all, but it's actually clear, but it's glittery. But it means that when you're colouring on top of an already coloured piece, it means it's just adding glitter over the top of the colour. All right, so it gives it a nice sparkle, and you've still got the colour that you've used showing through as well. Now the other things that I used too were my Spectrum Noir pens. That's actually quite difficult to say when you're not French. Noir. So I've used my Spectrum Noir pens, and again it's a similar sort of thing to the Wink of Stella, but these are coloured. Now I spent a fair bit of money on buying a set of these, and to be fair, I haven't used them an awful lot, and in fact I think that this is probably about the only thing that I've really used them on. But as you can see as well, it comes coloured. Not a very good colour match to the band. I didn't find that very good either. So here's the orange one, which is nearer the colour, and here's the pink one. Anyway, I'm not totally over enamoured with them, but as I say, I have used them in this instance on this particular project. Now one of the other things that I found as well was if you've got a lot of ink in your barrel, they bleed, and so mine bled quite a lot round here because there was maybe too much ink in the barrel, but it gives it a nice coloured glittery effect. So what I ended up doing was, I tried this technique out before, and what I ended up doing was I did a sheet like this, and I ended up cutting it all up into smaller pieces and sticking it onto black card, because one of the things that I find is if you do something like this, stick it onto black card, it makes the colours really pop. And so this is what I did, and as you can see, I didn't just add a picture to my page. So I made an envelope out of part of the page. I also made this little notebook. So again, this was another part of the colouring page that I'd coloured in, and I've cut it up, and I just made this little notebook, which I've tucked behind the envelope. I made 2 long tags and added some complementing glittery ribbon on the top as well. So I don't know whether you'll get to see the sparkle, but it's definitely sparkly in places. So I made those 2 tags, but you can see how the black makes these colours really pop. The other thing that I did as well was I cut them into little square tiles, added them onto the black card again, and then I used some glossy accents on the top of those. If I give you a closer look, so that it makes all of those nice and shiny as well. So I can now write a little piece which I can put inside the envelope explaining how I created these particular items on here, about using the distress inks to colour in the background, and then the Wink of Stella and the Spectrum Noir pens to then add that glittery little elements to the colouring page itself. But that was the page that I've created. Now at this stage I'm kind of thinking that I'm going to have to put my pages together. I'm going to have to stitch them together. So that's something that I'm going to come to over the weekend, and that's because my page number 6, or my 6th of February page, is a double spread. And with the prompt that we're going to be doing, for me, with it being a double spread, I need to go right the way across the page. So I need this side connected to this side, and at the moment it's loose, and it's going to be difficult for me to be able to complete that particular page. So I'll tell you what the prompt is, and then I'll show you the different options that I've come up with. Now let's get down to the nitty-gritty of the prompt for the 6th of February, which is going to be create a garden. So this actually allows you to be really, really creative. Now for me, I've got another double page spread. Seems I've got lots of them, to be fair. So it gives me a nice big section to work on. And again, this is another one of those prompts that's got lots of different options. So I'm going to go through those with you now. So for me, creating a garden actually opened up lots and lots and lots of different ideas, to the point where I'm thinking I could do just a journal just on these ideas alone, and you never know, I might actually end up doing that. So this is a country diary book that I've got about creating a wildflower garden, and of course there's all the country diary images that we're used to seeing that you could actually cut out and utilise as well. But the reason I've got this book out is because this is creating a garden. So one of the ideas is that you could actually draw a plan of your own garden maybe, and draw some images of where you want your plants to go, whether it be a veg garden or whether it be a flower garden, whether it be for animals, wild animals and bees and things. You could take all that into consideration as well. And then these are all individually numbered, so of course you could then keep a list down the side to give you some inspiration for your own garden that you want to create. So that was one idea, was doing a garden as a plan. Now I don't have a garden, so there's no point me doing anything like that, but it might be an idea for you. The second option, which is the one that I'm thinking of utilising, and it is the reason why I'm going to need my pages stitched in place, is I'm thinking of using paper napkins. Now I'm thinking of using this one as sort of the background, in which case I'll want it going across the double page. So that's why I want them stitching in. So I'm thinking of having that as sort of a background, and then of course of all my other paper napkins with all sorts of different flowers on that I could then cut out and add to my garden as it is. You could make a fairy garden. That could be another idea. And in fact I've got loads of those little black die cut fairies that I could utilise in this as well, so I could make it a little bit of a flowery garden, flower fairy garden. So that's another idea, was using the paper napkins. Of course then on top of that I could then use all or some of my paper flowers that I've purchased, and of course then there's some paper flowers that I've made myself, so I could utilise some of those. We could then take it a step further as well and use maybe your dies and punches, because I've got some lovely punches for leaves, which I could add. And again, if I'm going to make it into a a flower fairy garden, then I could use, that's where the toadstools and that were going to be coming in, so that would be quite good as well. So there's another option. Then last but by no means least, of course, there's all the stickers that we've all bought as well of flowers, so that's another something that I can add to my flower garden too. So I think that this one is going to be interesting. This one is maybe going to take a little bit of time, a little bit of thinking through, a little bit of planning, rather than just going dink, dink, dink and sticking stuff in. I think it's going to take a little bit of thought. And with it being the weekend, hopefully, you'll have a little bit of extra time to play on this. And of course, it's something that you don't have to get all finished in, you know, that particular day. It's something that you can keep revisiting, and especially as you go through your craft stuff and you come across some more of your stuff, some more of your items, then, you know, you might think, oh, actually that would look good in my garden. So you could then go back to that page and add a little bit more. So I think that this one will be really, really interesting to see the pages on the Facebook group of how everyone has created this garden. I think it's going to be really interesting to see what everyone comes up with. I hope it's whet your appetite as much as it's whet mine, and I'm really looking forward to doing this. So yeah, oh, it could be an exciting one, this one. Okay, I shall leave you all to it. I shall leave you to your thoughts and your planning, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video with another prompt. But remember, this is not something you've got to complete in a day. You can keep coming back to it, and I'll see you all again really soon. Bye for now.